This is Abnormal Entertainment.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cinema Head Cheese Podshort for Glitch Season 2. This is Kevin Moyers, and I am a big fan of this series. It's an Australian series on Netflix. That's on ABC in Australia. I would assume it's not the same ABC we have in the U.S., because that's the American Broadcasting Company. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense in Australia. And not sure hell if they're Disney-owned. So, there's that. But I will say it was an Australian show I discovered on Netflix maybe a year ago, something like that. And it's just 6 parts. And it was a great story. I'm pretty sure I did a pod short for that. But just to rehash it, about 7 people, I believe it was, come to life and crawl out of their graves. And they're from different time periods. One who's in World War I era, one who was the original mayor of this town, Urana, in Australia. And that's like 150 years ago. One is the town sheriff. It's a 2-horse town, sheriff and his deputy. And one of them is the sheriff's wife who died 4 years ago. And, a few others as well. One who died in the 80s. Things like that. And the idea is that there's something that has brought them back. And they can't figure out what. And all of them are not only back from the dead, but they are in 100% perfect health. Like the sheriff's wife who died from breast cancer, she had a double mastectomy. She looks down in her shirt, boobs are back. Like, she doesn't understand it. She can't figure it out. But there's a doctor that's trying to help with the situation. The sheriff is now married to his former wife's best friend, and they have a kid on the way. You know, they took comfort in each other. And again, it's been 4 years. And they're trying to figure out why this happened, why they came back. One of the problems is when they try to go too far, like they try to go to a hospital, I think in Sydney, and they hit this bridge, and one of the people that's with them just disintegrates, turns to dust. And it's crazy. Like, they figure out that there's a border that they can't cross, like an invisible border that they can't go past. During this time, the sheriff's best friend, who's a cop from another town, just dies and becomes evil, like possessed by the spirit. And the sheriff has to kill him, and they bury the body. It's craziness. So we continue this on in Season 2. And now we start to find out more and more about these people that have come back. And what happened to them, why they're back, a little bit more. We still don't get full understanding of that, but we learn what caused it. And the border starts shrinking. And it all leads back to this lab where the doctor worked. Of course, the doctor, we find out, was also dead and came back, brought herself back by taking this stuff when she knew she was going to die from a medical condition, and took this stuff before she died so that she would come back. And one of the people she brought back was her husband from 100 years ago, Like, she's been back. It's super craziness. Really crazy stuff. Almost like, if you ever watch Legends of Tomorrow, the Hawkman, Hawkwoman, situation where they keep reincarnating as lovers and different things. It's almost feels like that, except not crappy, because those were the two worst characters on that show. But you get a little bit more into detail on that and why that's happening. And you get into the storyline of the mayor, because in the first season he found one of his ancestors. And he was actually he was killed by his own family for having a relationship with an Aboriginal woman who worked on his estate. And, they had their secret relationship. And I believe they killed her as well. They insinuated that. But her ancestors are part of his lineage and deserve some of this money and property that should have been inherited. Patty's his name, and he does what he can to make things right with them, so that his great grandson, I think it's two greats, who he's been kind of seeking the help of, gets what he should. Now the thing with the evil spirit also continues, that took over the cop. It's almost a Grim Reaper-like thing we learn as it takes over somebody else. You die and then you get taken over by this thing, and your duty is to kill off these people that have come back. And it gets so intense, all of this stuff that happens. And honestly, in 6 episodes, what they did, ABC and Netflix together, what they did was phenomenal. It was so good. And I cannot wait for a season 3. And there will be a season 3. There has to be. I mean, it's set up for it. You're getting into the meat of this, and they're figuring out, like, how to expand this border wall or fix it so that these people can continue to live or not. They're not even sure what to do or how to handle this yet, but there's so much crazy shit going on. People getting killed, as in the first season, not all of these, they're not zombies, but all these reborn people or back to life people, they don't all make it through season 2. So it's just like, it's one great intense thing after another, and to cram it all in 6 episodes, they did a fantastic job, and I highly recommend it. Go, if you haven't seen it, watch season 1, watch season 2. I haven't really spoiled too much, but highly recommend it. It's fantastic. And, 12 episodes. I mean, I couldn't stop once I started the new 6. I saw it, I was like, oh, glitch, I'm on. And it just, intense all the way through. It was so great. So, check that out. Don't forget, you can go to bunny17media.com if you want to support us. Check out our books there. We have so much more coming up in the next year. Actually, I have a deadline with my daughter on one book that I'm writing, that, on the days she's with her mom, I have to get so many chapters done before I see her next, or I have to pay her $5. So, it's a good incentive for me, and in a way, it's showing her, like, you have to be dedicated to this. You have to achieve this. You have to get your work done. So, anyway, there's a lot on the site already. If you want to get 15% off, use the code CHC when you check out. You'll get your 15% off. If you buy 1 book, 10 books, it doesn't matter. You get ebooks, doesn't matter. Everything is 15% off there. And 2 good things if you shop on the site versus finding the books on Amazon, which you can. They're all there. But on the site, some of the books cost a little less because we get a greater profit margin on our site than we do through Amazon. We don't have to pay Amazon through our site, obviously. And the second thing is, for us, the better profit margin, which helps fuel more material, more stuff. And if you guys have been with us for this long, you know we've been at this for 7 years now, almost 8 years. So with this podcast, and I started even a year and a half before that with a different one. So, you know, it's something we love to do, and we're going to continue to do, and we need your help. I mean, that's it, plain and simple. So every time you go do that, you get a break, and we get something that helps us move along. So it's nice, and I do appreciate it. So you got some Christmas money, right? Sure, go get some books. Go have some fun. Even get a book for the kids. We got a book my daughter and I wrote together, and it's good, people. It's good. And I don't say that about my work very often, only because I'm self-conscious about it like most people, but I'm super proud of it, and it's great. And I'm super proud of the things I'm working on now too. I'm in a good zone and a good place writing wise, so I would appreciate if you went and checked it out. So do that. Watch Glitch, and I will see you next time. Subscribe and download back episodes of Cinema Head Cheese the podcast, and read all of our movie reviews and news at cinemaheadcheese.com. Email us at cinemaheadcheese@yahoo.com. Search Cinema Head Cheese on Facebook and tweet us at CINHeadCheese. And for more podcasts, books, comics, blogs, and videos, head to abnormalentertainment.com.
You've been listening to the Abnormal Entertainment Network.